Let's talk about how to navigate family dynamics when handling a loved one's estate. We'll get started right after this. Navigating the challenges of handling a loved one's estate is a lot. It can be overwhelming, but one of the most challenging pieces can be family dynamics. Every family is different, and every family has its stories and its feuds. Some families get along great, but for the most part, there's always going to be some sort of dispute through the process of probate. Today we're going to talk about how you go about navigating those family dynamics through the responsibilities that you, as the personal representative, so you might be an executor, administrator, or trustee, through your responsibilities to the fiduciary duty of the estate, and some of the common challenges that we might see. We'll talk about the importance of relying on the professionals who are part of your team, and how much you should communicate with your beneficiaries to create a balance and prevent any possible disputes from taking place if there aren't any already. Let's begin with your role as the personal representative. As the personal representative, also known as the PR, you're responsible for a fiduciary duty that you play to the estate. You should always rely on the recommendations of the professionals who you work with and see how they can help you with any challenges that arise. One of the most important professionals is going to be your probate attorney. You can rely on them to help you navigate certain scenarios and provide you with any updates for sharing with the beneficiaries. If a will exists or a trust, as the PR, you would follow the wishes of the decedent via the will and trust. But without a will or a trust, the assets are going to be distributed based on court ruling. So, in most states, they have what's called succession law, and that law will determine who will be receiving any items from the estate. Succession law is basically a top to bottom list of the possible beneficiaries if there isn't a will and a trust for an estate. Every state is a little different, but most of the time, family members like parents, spouses, and children are on the top of those lists. Regardless of any verbal conversations between the decedent and any of the beneficiaries, the will and trust and the probate courts will then help determine the distribution of the assets. If there's a trust, you won't have to go through probate court. You would just distribute based on the guidelines that are placed in the trust. As a personal representative, it's very important that you follow your fiduciary duty and make final decisions when the courts are not involved. Just like you, as the personal representative, may not fully understand the challenges of the legal matters related to probate, the beneficiaries also may not understand those legal challenges. So clear explanations will often lead to cooperation from the beneficiaries. The most important piece oftentimes is just communication. As the personal representative, you're going to primarily make the decisions, but you're going to rely on the advice of your professionals who are helping you. So that would be your probate attorney for legal matters and your real estate agent or broker for any real estate sales matters. Your attorney will ensure that any legal matters related to the probate process are followed, and you can rely on them for those needs. Some attorneys will play the role of the bad guy when it comes to legal matters with an estate. When it comes to the real estate matters, we as your team will oftentimes do the same. We don't mind having to provide information that may not be things that beneficiaries want to hear, if that is something that helps you as the personal representative get through the process easily. Know that as the personal representative, you do have a lot of responsibilities, but your professionals understand that you are also grieving while handling the family dynamics and probate responsibilities. So some tips for you to try and diminish the family dynamic challenges that come to play when you are handling the death of a loved one and trying to go through the process of distributing the assets. Communication is key. One thing that we've done for some of our clients who request it is we will constantly send them emails, even if we've spoken with them on the phone, with the information that we provide to them. Let's say we've determined that the property needs to be sold as is. What does that mean? Well, if we go into a home and there's just too much deferred maintenance, or there's too many things that would need to be taken care of and there isn't the financial means for the estate, or maybe the beneficiaries aren't interested in going through the process of repairs, we will then take care of helping them to prepare a property for sale as is. Sometimes we find that families will dispute about, well, all sorts of things, but they'll dispute about what condition a home should be in to be sold. A property can be sold in any condition. We have had properties that have had fires, and we've also had properties that have been fully renovated, and we have helped both clients to navigate the challenges associated with their specific circumstance. So one of the ways that we would then help with that, if a beneficiary wants to fix up a property, but you as the personal representative don't want to go through that process, don't have the financial means to go through that process, we will be sure to constantly communicate with you via email to then give you a way to forward information to beneficiaries to keep them in the loop and continue the communication with them. Keeping beneficiaries informed throughout the probate process helps to diminish their stress associated with the situation. It helps prevent misunderstandings and anxiety. You don't have to communicate with them via email. You can communicate with the beneficiaries verbally, but it's up to you what method is most functional for you. Regular updates, even informal conversations, will help to create a baseline and prevent mistrust when it comes to the handling of the personal property and the estate. Emotional dynamics of probate sales can be a lot, and when family dynamics are not cohesive, it can significantly affect the outcome for you as the personal representative. Some families are able to work harmoniously, and a lot of times when we see families that aren't able to create some cohesive level of communication, keeping them in the loop is what sort of prevents the blow-ups and the challenges when it comes to the family dynamics. A lot of times the disputes are over personal property, so being sure to listen to what other beneficiaries want, hearing what they have to say about grandma's jewelry or Aunt Susan's clothing collection, or how you're going to go about handling grandpa's tools in the garage, what the plan's gonna be for your friend's knickknacks. All of these are scenarios that you can listen to the beneficiaries, hear what they have to say, and try and create some sort of balance as to what they receive when it comes to personal property. One of the ways that we have helped some of our clients to navigate distribution of personal property is to suggest that they either use Post-its or tape and let beneficiaries go to the property while the PR is there and label things that they would like to take. You allow all the beneficiaries to label whatever they want, and when there is an item that two individuals would like, you can have them then talk it out and figure out maybe a solution when it comes to particular items. If there's a will or a trust, remember that the words in the will or the trust will trump anybody's personal wants when it comes to assets. So if grandma decided that cousin Sue is the one who is going to inherit her ruby ring, then know that another individual will not be allowed to keep that if it's in writing. Just a quick story. I wanted to talk about a client that we had recently. This client became the personal representative of her father's estate and was immediately overwhelmed with the process. Her siblings were arguing over who should inherit specific heirlooms, even though items had designated individuals that they were meant to go to via the will. Our client felt torn. She didn't want to upset her siblings, but she knew that she had a responsibility to follow her father's wishes. Not to mention the legal obligation of making sure that she followed the law. We were able to step in and help our client to navigate this process. The disputes became so challenging with her siblings that we recommended she actually have her attorney step in and create a baseline for the siblings regarding the personal property. The attorney was able to clarify the legal responsibilities when it came to distributing based on what the will said. Our client told us that having the third parties, her real estate team, us, and the attorney help her to manage that particular scenario really made her feel like she was able to avoid being the bad guy. And it helped to maintain her family relationships after the fact. And in a lot of cases, that's what our clients want. They want to make it through the process of probate and maintain their relationships with their loved ones. So remember, a skilled professional who has experienced probate before can really help you to get through that process. Your real estate attorney can help you to maintain compliance with the law and to guide you through maintaining clear communication with the beneficiaries to address any emotional dynamics that might be challenging for you. Having a trusted team to help guide you through your responsibilities will lessen the tension and give you greater confidence. I hope you found this of value. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and hit that bell button. You wouldn't want to miss our videos next week.